Hello, this is the TradeSite US Stocks and Futures Market Preview and Domestic Economic Data Roadmap for the week beginning Monday the 10th, ending Friday the 14th of September 2018. Hope you had a good trading week. It wasn't a lot. It's kind of a stair step down type of week. There were some gaps that make it kind of annoying. It wasn't the best week I've seen. We only had a 4-day week because of Labor Day. Coming back from the holiday, I thought maybe we'd get a little bit more action, and it just didn't happen. So I didn't love this week, unfortunately. But usually September does pick up and we get a good month. And it's usually a fairly negative month. And we're so far off to at least a negative start. So we will see what happens from there. But if you don't know how to short, probably not going to do well in the month of September. Here's a look at the ES front month futures contract. This is the daily chart of the broad market in futures form. Not much to talk about. Cup and handle that tried to break out in the slowest month of the year, which is August, which is usually an up month. Now you enter September. So you got to factor in not just the chart patterns, but also what's going on in the world and what time of year it is. And this is not the most positive time of the year, typically. Crude oil up 9 cents on Friday to 67.86. Gold down $2.50. That does give us not quite a 13 buy signal, but almost. If we get one more down day on gold, on crude and gold, I mean, we will have that. S&P closed down 6 on Friday. There was a gap down. We filled the gap and then closed lower on the day. NASDAQ 100 down 22.91. SOX down 5.58. So finally coming back down after bouncing off that 13 buy signal. Look at this. Look at the 13s on this chart, right? The 13 back sell signal back last November sold off pretty good, and then the 13 buy signal the other day bounced pretty good. Biotech's down $19.31. The VIX up 23 cents. TRIN closes at 0.72, 10-day moving average at 1.07, so that's not a signal. NASDAQ volume, 2.1 billion shares. Advanced decline ratio on the NASDAQ, negative 205, so more stocks down than up. The 10-day moving average is now negative 0.25. That's the first time in 3 weeks. On the New York, though, it was negative 1,004, and it's also the 10-day moving average is also negative. Google loses $6.40. Apple, which sold off late in the day because of some new tariffed items that they have, down $1.80. Netflix up $2.22. Amazon down $6.24, which is not much compared to the 40 points plus that they lost the day before. Tesla taking a beating, down 17.71. A lot of people thinking this might be the end for Tesla. Look at that 13 buy signal. Look at both of them, though. Both of the 13 buy signals on this chart. One back last in December, basically, right at Thanksgiving, caused a good bounce for 40 points on the stock, and then one here back in May caused a big rally in the stock. So those 13 buy signals right on the money. TLT, the 20-year bond ETF, gapped down and stayed down, so the bonds are lower. But it's interesting because even though rates have been heading up this year, the TLT is the 10-year bond is still basically where it was back in February. Goldman Sachs loses 61 cents. It's kind of a blip. This has not been the most exciting stock of 2018, and it's usually had some good years. Either way, up or down, at least tradable. Facebook up 51 cents. I wouldn't mark this year as one of the most tradable years in the market, to be honest. We've done well, but it's still not super exciting. We'll have some good times ahead, I'm sure. Here's the ES. We'll go to 10-minute candles, but just keep in mind because of the Monday holiday, you can see Monday there, that little half partial day that was so flat with the gap up and no volume. So the prior thing is Friday from the last week. So on Tuesday, we gapped down, came back up a little bit, missed the gap fill, I think, by like a tick. Closed about where we opened for the day, maybe, right about where we opened. Tuesday, we had a little gap down that didn't quite fill. And again, even though we went lower, we closed about where we opened. Wednesday, opened flat, went lower, came back up a little bit, and closed down a couple points. And then, I'm sorry, I had this wrong. It's Tuesday, Wednesday, that was Thursday, and now Friday we gapped down, came up to fill the gap, and closed a little lower. Overall, if you look at this, it's just not a very exciting looking week. I mean, there's some gaps in general downtrend in this, but it's not like what we like to see. Now, the NASDAQ side was a little more negative. Tuesday gap down, didn't come close to filling. It closed where it opened. Wednesday gap down and kept going, actually down quite a bit. Thursday opened flat and then sold off. Note the 13 buy signal there is the low of the week essentially. On Thursday, the risk line's that pink line. We never violated it. We did gap down Friday morning, but we came back up to fill it. So that 13 signal is very valid for the week. But overall, like I said, this is just not the most exciting week I've ever seen in the markets. And it's disappointing. You like to come back from Labor Day, give them a day or two, and get back to work. In terms of economic data, Monday, we've got a Fed member speaking. We've got consumer credit at 3 p.m., so nothing really Monday. Tuesday at 6 a.m., NFIB Small Business Index file, wholesale inventories, and jolted job openings at 10. Wednesday, PPI, crude oil inventories an hour into the market. We got another Fed member speaking. 10-year bond auction at 1, Beige Book at 2. Thursday, CPI, an hour before the bell, along with the weekly initial and continuing jobless claims. Natty Gas, an hour in. 30-year bond auction at 1 p.m. Federal budget balance at 2 p.m. And then on Friday, retail sales and import-export prices an hour before the bell. Capacity utilization and industrial production at 9:15. Business inventories and University of Michigan sentiment at 10. I mean, so there's some stuff there this week. Is it, including the CPI? Is it the biggest stuff ever? I don't know that I'd say that, but it is what it is. So we're gonna trade it as we see it. Hopefully, get some better action. Hopefully, it's not all just gaps and then close reopened. That's annoying. Charts as usual brought to you by eSignal. If you've not yet taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple weeks, probably pretty well too. Have a great trading week.